Judy. And welcome everybody. So this is module 1, lesson 1 of the effectology method. Can everybody just join me in a big yay? Because we're kicking off 2019, which is super duper cool. And we've got an amazing, amazing new group of ladies who've joined us for this year. And of course, all the ladies from the previous round are really excited to get cracking again. And, you know, Karen's here. And I love that Karen's here because Karen's done, we're doing core values today, and Karen's done core values, how many times now over the last 3 or so, 3 it's been, and it just never gets old, does it? It's very powerful stuff. So today is a really, really special day, and I couldn't think of a better way to kick off this program. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mute everybody for the background noise. Just give me a sec. And mute you all. You can unmute yourself if you want to jump in with a question at any time. Please feel welcome to do that. Don't feel like you have to. We're not that huge a group, so you don't have to be all shy and sit back. And hi, Corey. I just saw you pop in too. So you don't have to be all shy. Just unmute yourself if you have a question or you want to stop me while I'm talking. That's totally, totally cool. Hang on, I'm just going to turn off a couple of distractions for myself. There you go, that's gone. Good. All right, so let me give you a quick rundown because we're going to have like a little bit of a similar format of how these calls run, and we're going to try and keep them nice and punchy because we do have 3 a month. And so I want to make sure that you feel like you can hop on a call, you know, we smash out some really great stuff. You walk away with more clarity on what the module's about. You can go interact in the group and really work the material and have plenty of space in your life, you know, to be able to do all of that. So in a moment, we'll get started. I always like to start quickly by grounding us and connecting the energy so that we're all here in this space for the next hour together. And then I'm going to ask you if you've got general manifesting questions, like not specific to today's topic, then I'm going to keep a list of names and I will address them at the end. So we'll do an official wrap up and close, and then the people that want to go and need to go can go, and I'll stick around and answer questions, and that all will be on the recording as well. So if anybody wants to kind of, you know, eavesdrop in afterwards, because you always get juicy gold out of that, you totally can. But that just helps us keep it a bit more compact, and like we'll talk about the lesson and then anything else general we will do later on. I'll ask if you've got anything to celebrate, to share with the group, because this is the space where people are actually really happy for you when things go well, rather than feel jealous. They feel inspired. And then we'll get into recapping the lesson. You know, some lessons we do a live demo, which we will do today. Today's all about really helping you understand how to do this exercise. And then I will just clarify what you're doing for home play, which for this purpose today is buddying up to really drill down your core values. And after you see the demo today, you're going to go, oh, I get it now, why it's so important to do it properly. Yeah, and then we'll officially close up and, you know, kind of send the energy off into your day, and then I'll address any other more general questions. So that's how all the calls are going to run. Just to bear it in mind. If you can't make a live call and you have a specific question about that lesson or a general question, just pop it into the event for that call. Like in the Facebook group, you know, we've got all our events listed with each call there. Just pop your question in that event, and then I will make sure I address it on the call for you. And just set that intention as well. What do you want to get out of this call? What do you want to get clarity on? Because you're then still sending your energy in to do the work. You know, you can outsource stuff like that, totally. Suzanne will miss it as you'll be flying to conference. Yeah, I'll already be over there running the call from Brizzy, which I'm super excited about. Okay, cool. So let's start by just grounding ourselves and connecting up the energy. So I invite you to close your eyes if you're not driving or operating heavy machinery. And ideally you want to have your feet flat on the floor. And let's just take a moment to really feel that connection with the earth. Feel your feet kind of spreading and opening up. Imagine the little chakras on your feet opening as well, like little flowers blossoming. Feel your sitting bones, feel your spine. each vertebrae stacked nicely on top of the other, allowing all that energy, all that oxygen, all those electrical impulses to flow through your entire body, feeling yourself connected from top to bottom. And on your next inhalation, just in your own time, I want you to imagine that you're drawing that energy up from the earth below. And you can imagine that you've got these big roots growing down into the earth and they're drawing up the energy, or you can just let it seep up through the base of your feet, whatever feels right. And drawing all that energy up on that inhalation and allowing it to fill up your entire body. Feeling yourself being recalibrated and aligned and fueled by that loving energy that's always there to support you. And when you exhale, just let it go and allow yourself to relax. And on the next inhalation, again, drawing that energy up from the earth below, feeling the love and the warmth in it, feeling that connection that's always there anytime you choose to pay attention to it. When you get to the top of the breath, just hold it for a split second and enjoy that peace and silence. And when you let it go, allow it to flow back down through your feet and into the earth, feeling that communion. That's right. Feeling the earth welcoming that breath back. And now just one final time, drawing the energy up, filling up your entire body, enjoying that pause at the top of the breath. And this time, allow that crown chakra of yours to open up and let the energy flow out in both directions. And as you imagine it flowing out through the crown of your head, see it spreading out around the globe and kind of energetically feel yourself holding hands with every other woman in this circle. And just take a moment to feel that energy connecting. And set your intention that for the next 60 minutes or so, you are right here and it is now. Bringing all your energy in. And when you're ready, just take a deep breath in and come back into the room. So I invite you now to do two things. Number one, if you've got just a general question you want to run by me, please pop your name in the chat box and just say, general, put me on the list for questions, please. And I will keep a list of names to go through at the end. Sometimes no one has a question, which is totally cool. Sometimes everybody has a question, which is totally cool as well. I'm all yours for as long as you need me within reason. And if anyone's got anything to celebrate, unmute yourself and let us hear it, because it's always lovely to share these celebrations. So has anyone got anything really cool they'd like to celebrate? Just click the unmute button. And while you're thinking about it, I'm going to go get my water. I'm sorry.
We can all talk amongst ourselves,
We could. I'm celebrating being in Oz.
Being in Oz, are you? Oh, that's right. You came out early. And what are we doing here, Jen? You're doing some workshops too, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah. How exciting. What are they about?
I'm doing an elevator pitch workshop in 3 different cities here in Oz. So
that's right. I signed up for it, but I don't think I can go because I think I have to babysit. When is it?
Which one? Which city? Brisbane?
Adelaide.
Adelaide is
bingo.
Thursday the 28th. Thank you. Thursday the 28th.
Is it?
1 to 3.
Yeah.
Is there spots available?
Yes, there are. I'm going to put the link in.
I did sign for it, but I have to do school pickup, which is at 3 o'clock at the other side of town.
Oh,
but I might be able to organise something. I might be able to put him in after school childcare.
We might be able to manifest that, Robin.
Yes, we might be able to manifest that.
I think that's a fine idea. Yes, and I'm celebrating women who are interested in coming to my elevator pitch workshop, which is
fantastic.
And I'm interested.
Have I booked in for that? I'm meant to be booked in for that. I'm just thinking.
No, there's only one person registered so far. So
no, there's not.
Well, now there's 4. There's Robin.
I registered, didn't I? Yeah.
Woohoo! Awesome. So
I registered, didn't I, Jen? Robin Williams, I registered, didn't I?
Maybe you sent me a message and I haven't added you to the link yet. Right now it's only showing Karen Gunton.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Well,
Do you
that's
have
now 4 of us.
Do you have a focus, like any women in business?
It's women in business who, and actually I offered the same workshop in Dubai, and women in 3 of the 4 women who showed up to the first one actually had jobs, but didn't know how to talk about themselves and their position.
Mm-hmm.
So they came and they all really loved it too. So the focus is women in business, but I have a slide with if you're in business or if you're still in corporate. There's
Cool.
slightly different targeted questions.
Lovely. So Jen, can you please put the link up in the Effectology Method program group?
Yeah, I'll take care of that.
And specifically tag in myself, Robin, and
Karen.
I'll do that
Karen.
right.
I'll get some more.
For
Don't you
Adelaide.
worry about that.
Jane's in Adelaide too, and obviously whoever's going to be here for the weekend and is already here on Thursday. Yay! I'm celebrating that I'm going to get to see a bunch of you at the end of the month as well.
I know. It's
And I'm
exciting.
celebrating that I'm off to Brisbane next week to speak and to hug quite a few of you. Yay!
Yes.
It's going to
so
be a lot
much.
of squeezing, a lot of squeezing.
I get to see you, Anna. I get to see you, Miriam, Linda. Yeah, Judy.
I know. Oh, Linda, you're coming to conference, aren't you? Someone asked me yesterday and I was like, I don't think so. No, you're not. No. Oh, good. I got it right. Woohoo. Any other celebrations, guys?
I'm celebrating my tax.
You've done it?
Well, my accountants had it for ages. They've been really slow about it, and I've been driving them nuts. And potentially, I could have had to pay $80,000.
Ooh.
And I got a call. I put aside 50. I got a call to say that I have to pay 3, not 33.
$3,000.
$3,000. The accountant charged me 5, but so what? What am I up? Thank you, universe.
Thank
How
you
did that happen?
very much.
How did that happen?
Well,
you had some offsets. I'm there. Okay, fine. Thank you.
I'll take it. Thank you.
I'll take it. Thank you very much.
Always take it. That's lovely. So you've got a nice little surplus sitting there.
Well, I have. Well, yes, sort of.
Yes, sort of.
Sort of chewed up by the fact that Andrew's not earning, but that's okay.
Well, isn't it all working out perfectly?
That's right. Exactly.
Exactly. See, nothing to worry about.
No, I knew there wasn't.
Exactly. Which is why I didn't bother wasting any energy on it.
Correct. I didn't.
Lovely. That's a beautiful celebration. Anyone else? Anyone got another one before we get stuck into it?
I'm celebrating. I got 12,500 minutes watch time on my YouTube channel in the last month. It's just going up like, yeah. So put in perspective when I started like really looking at it, which was August last year, was 2,000 a month. So it's gone up to 12,000. So it's, yeah.
That is so amazing. It went up from what to what? 2,000.
Yeah, about August it was about 2,000 a month, and now it's 12.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing,
Cool.
amazing. Well done, Judy. You are the famous rock star, Judy.
Thank you.
Totally. That's so cool. Well done. Karen, is that a hand up?
Yes, my hand is up. I have
thought maybe you were just having a twitch or a dancing.
Yeah. I have 2 things. I'll be speaking at the outsourced accountant on the client panel next week. Just talking about my experiences with the outsourced accountant, and then the following day flying out to Bali for a week. So that'll be lovely.
Woohoo. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Nice. Excellent. Oh, I love all these celebrations. It's super cool. Anyone else got another one? I don't want to cut anybody off when they go, but I had something too.
I'll share.
Share.
I'm celebrating launching the beta round of Infinite Connections, which is my little group to share intuition and wisdom and love, and also launching The Gathering, which is like a women's circle for the local area as well.
Beautiful. And I saw you post about that, and I got really excited. I got goosebumps because it's like, yeah, this is where Anna needs to play. This is your space.
Thank you. I'm actually quite nervous about playing in it, but you just got to jump sometimes, right?
Absolutely.
Trust and faith.
Yeah, absolutely. Super cool. Yeah, I just also wanted to quickly say, Karen, thank you for offering to share that, because we're doing it at the Alma, so it's nicely located, just in the boardroom there, Jen's workshop. And
so then like maybe 10 people all up, is that right?
I don't know how many Jen's happy to have, 10, 12, something like that. And so maybe through BC or someone, or you know lots of people. But yeah, elevator pitch is always important because I need it. People who don't know what I do ask what I do, and I go, I'm a coach. It's too hard. So Jen will sort me out. All right, let's get into it. So lesson 1.1. So each module has 3 lessons because we do 3 calls a month for the 6 months. So lesson 1.1 is core values, and core values is really where it all begins. There's no point starting out going, I'm going to manifest all this good stuff if you haven't first connected to what is the stuff that truly lights you up. It helps in 2 ways. Number one, you're not going to be trying to draw into your life things that when you finally have them don't really light you up like you thought they would, and then it kind of leaves you a bit meh. It's not going to allow that to happen. And also it means that you actually get in alignment and attract really awesome things that totally light you up much more effortlessly. And it's not just even about the stuff you attract, it's actually about becoming who you want to become, because at the end of the day, the stuff is kind of secondary. It's irrelevant, I was going to say, but it's definitely secondary to how it is you want to feel. We want to feel a certain way about life. We want to feel calm, peaceful, like we're in the right place, like everything's sorted, like we have loving relationships and all that stuff. But it is unique and different to every single person, exactly how that all fits together. So core values is something that, quite a few people do, but they do it from the head. They do it very much from the conscious mind. And then it kind of ends up sounding like some sort of resume to impress other people, or they put down what they feel they should value that will make them a good mother, a good person, a good person of service, whatever it is. So the way we do them is, like we do everything in the effectology method, is we connect at the unconscious level. We go really deep and we go to that place of alignment, aligning with the true essence of who you are and what lights you up. And when you do it at that level, it has such a powerful meaning. And what it then also does is it acts as a compass. So when you don't have your core values sorted and you're not connected to them and you don't really know what they are and use them as that compass, then life can feel a bit lost sometimes, where you're not really sure exactly what you want. You're just kind of hoping for the best, and even though sometimes good things are coming, they sort of still leave you feeling a little bit like, but I'm still missing something, But when you are totally connected to your core values and you keep them front of mind and you really work and live by them, and then use them as the foundation stone upon which to build all the rest of the things we do in terms of staying in alignment, attracting what it is you desire, clearing your blocks and blah, 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 all the rest of it. But when it comes from that foundation of actually having laid your core values and being truly deeply connected to them, then everything else just falls into place and it feels right. You know who you are and you know where you want to go. And that's a really fantastic way to be. Like at the Bali retreat, that is one of the things we do. And obviously being a 6-day retreat, we don't get to do what we do in a 6-month program. We just get to, do some of the key components of the first couple of modules. But just the core values exercise alone, women always come up to me after that and go, this was worth coming to Bali for, like just having gained what I gained here because I've reconnected to me. So that is what we do. So they do act like a beautiful compass and anchor, and they should be uniquely yours. So we'll talk about that a little bit as we go through, because sometimes things creep in that are a bit about I should value this, and is this okay? And I think was it Christy who said like some guilt stuff came up, and I think that's what you meant by your comment. We can talk about that a little bit more, that your values came up and it's like, oh, is it okay for me to value that? Like, shouldn't I value other things? But what it means is they're the things that truly light you up and that need to be the essence that infuses as many parts of your life as possible, if your life is going to light you up, if you're going to feel like you're living a truly meaningful, joyful life. So it's not about, but I don't value my family or other things. It's, these are the things I need to fill my cup. And, if you don't fill your own cup first, you haven't got a snowflake's chance in hell of filling anyone else's or serving anyone else. So they do need to be uniquely yours. You do need to be totally honest about it and just put aside any kind of feelings of guilt or conditioning or any of that. And, as you hang around in this group, don't worry, that becomes really easy. We're very good at being selfish because you have to be selfish. You have to be selfish if you're going to align with who you truly are and be uniquely and authentically you. And then you can show up and serve others in that most powerful and helpful way. But if you don't take care of yourself first, it's the oxygen mask thing. If you don't take care of yourself first, you're not much use to anyone else. You just end up being like grumpy mum or irritable wife or whatever. And we don't like playing those roles. So once you've got your core values, and we're going to go through the demo and really clarify all of that for you, and then I'll, as homework, send you away to do it in pairs. Once you've got them, I'd like you to, number one, spend some time really commemorating them, really connecting to them. So whether that for you is making a poster or doing a painting or something else, a collage even, just some way of really connecting with them, spending some time on what does this actually mean to you, and having something visual that you can then put up as a point of reference. Because the other thing that your core values are really handy for is that referring back to whenever things aren't quite falling into place, whenever there's no flow in a given situation in life. Like, say, for example, you do have a day job and you're just not feeling it, like it's really hard work and you don't like going there and it doesn't light you up. Once you know what your core values are, then you can look at ways to bring those into your day job and have little ways of infusing them in there so that then that lights you up. And what your values do when you've got them in as a component of a part of your life is they call you, they keep drawing you forward. And then as you manage to put that little element, that little bit of essence into something where maybe there was stuck energy and misalignment before, when you put that in there, it helps you find your alignment. And then other things can start to kind of resolve themselves, shift and change, and a natural flow can start to happen. So they're really quite a magical little, thing to just bring into different aspects of your life to enhance that area of your life, to have you light up even more in that area, to have it flow better, and also to really move things that are stuck. Because just battling against it or saying, oh, in the example I gave, I'm going to quit my day job because it's just not in alignment, that can be the hard road. Whereas if you bring your core values into it and you find ways, say one of your core values is fun, right? And you have no fun at your workplace at all. And then you find ways to make it just a little bit of fun. Like somebody I worked with a while ago just changed their email signature and added something a bit fun and personal to their email signature or to their invoices, because we're working with money stuff as well. And just, something that kind of brought that sense of fun into that area where the energy was a bit stuck. And when you do that, it helps you find a little bit more of an alignment, which then law of attraction will leverage off and start to create a flow around. And then things can start to shift and change from there. And before you know it, the job's shifted, you've been moved to another department, you've been promoted, or you've been offered another job because somebody you work with through that job headhunted you. Like stuff like that is what happens. So you don't always have to go, this is not in alignment with me, I'm going to quit and go do it the hard way. You just have to find ways of getting in alignment so that the energy can start to flow and your guidance can start to kick in. And core values is a really great way of helping you do that and helping you really enjoy every part of your life. So hopefully that makes sense. Anna says, I was really interested in the 8 values that I narrowed down to, and none of them were family, and yet I put my family first. Cool. I'm glad you mentioned family. I didn't talk about it first because it always comes up anyway. So if anyone comes up when they narrow down their values and they've done so you go through the process, you listen to the meditation, then you do the brain dump of everything that came up, and you kind of convert them to values. And values can be one word or a couple of words. You know, it can be connection to nature or creativity, stuff like that. So once you've got that down, you kind of look for duplications, you know, things that are really the same thing or part of the same thing, and you kind of tidy it all up. And then you end up with, as Anna has, you know, a list of 8 or something like that. Now, if anyone comes up with family, by the time they get to that, I actually challenge them on that, because family to me is not a value. Family to me is a group of people that you're genetically related to or by marriage, right? And some of them you choose to hang out with, some of them you prefer not to hang out with, but you're stuck with. So saying I value family actually means, well, you know, we all have family members that we're not close to, that we don't feel that way about. And what we actually mean when we say family is we might mean our children or our partner, or, you know, those really close to us, or those special members of our family. But it's not actually about the people. It's either about the connection or the love or the fun. It's about what it gives you. So again, the value is something deeper than that, right? So I don't think anyone's actually ever won the argument with me and kept family as a value after we've had the discussion. So if they really wanted to keep it, they could, but usually people go, no, I get it now. It's actually, I'm okay with not putting family on my list. I'm okay with that because I realize it doesn't mean I don't value my family. It means I value what my family is all about. So always look at that next level and going a little bit deeper. So perfect question. Okay, so that's a little bit of an overview. So I'd like to do a demo, and I think let's just, before I do a demo of how to rank them, because that's what I'll get you to do with your buddies, get together, make a time, and ideally do it as a Facebook Live. So when you start a Facebook Live, you can do it where you invite another person, or you can do it on Zoom and then share the video in the group. If you do it like that, where it's in the group and we can see it, then it means I can take a look and just make sure you're on the right path, because sometimes people kind of get themselves confused and they don't follow the process quite correctly, and then you can end up with quite a different result. So if you do it either by a Facebook Live as a, you know, where you invite someone, so there's 2 of you on the screen, or you do it as a Zoom call and then just share the recording in the group, then I can have a look and just go, yep, you're spot on, or actually this went a little bit off the rails. Let's tidy that up, because this is really important. This is your foundation stone. So that's ideally how I'd like you to do your values. If you can't, or you prefer not to share them, that's totally cool. Just get together with your buddy and do them, but do them with another person, because having another person ask you the question that helps with the ranking is really different to asking yourself that question. It's a whole different ball game, and you'll feel it in a moment as we do it. So does anybody have any questions around just getting to the point where you, like Anna has now, having like your 8 or so values that you haven't yet ranked? Does anybody have any questions about any of the process that gets you to that point? Just let me know, and let's talk about that first before we do a demo on how to rank them. Just unmute yourselves if you need to have a quick chat.
I did.
Judy? Yeah.
So in the meditation itself, I felt like I only really had a few different, like strong
Cool
things, and then after I came out, I just kept thinking, okay, well, what brings me that joy? What brings me the joy? And then it became a bit of a huge list. And then
because it doesn't have to be a whole lot of different things. So go on.
Yeah, and then and there was just like, you know, stuff like my branded pen, like my pen. Like, I love my pen.
Okay, what is it you love about your pen?
Because I guess it feels like it's authentically me. That's who I am.
Cool. So is it the authenticity you value, or being authentic?
Being authentic, yeah.
Okay, so there you go. So that's what you do. You just go, what is it about that I really value that lights me up?
Okay, so that's
It's
cool.
not that you really love pens or that you totally love your branding, right?
No, no.
It's about being authentic. Like it's
Yeah.
you. It's the
Yeah.
essence of you.
The essence of me, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so then
So
I ended up with my 8-ish,
Cool.
more like standard words of, support or love and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
But I
That's
did
awesome.
find, I went right through and I did find that some things I couldn't distinguish. It was like they were the same still, like this feeling of awe and wonder and is this, I guess that's that feeling of like walking with God, like I'm just right there.
Mhm.
And then how do you disassociate that from love, the feeling of love, like the real feeling of love? So it's like everything seemed to be kind of the same in the end. Sort of.
Well, at the end of the day, you'll come up with your number one core value, and it kind of trumps everything else. And it's the one thing that if you can't have anything else, that's the one you want to have in every part of your life, right? And the reason I ask you to ultimately just come up with your top 3 is because, life is life. And it'd be great to say, hey, these are my 8 values that I came up with from my meditation. Let's just make sure they're covered in everything I do. It's very unlikely that you're going to be able to do that in any area of life, right?
Yeah.
So the reason that you probably had very few kind of moments that you went to in the meditation is because they're the moments where many of your values came together. So that's why they were the standout moments. So you did exactly what you meant to do, is you mine them for all that gold. Like, what is it about those moments? And that's why you said lots of things came out of them, because they came up because they were such strong associations to that feeling of joy, that feeling of really being in alignment. And they had so many elements, right? So perfect, good job. Now, ultimately, you're going to have the one that trumps everything. But like when we talk about values, yes, you can say it's all about love, ultimately, even connection to nature, say, for example, if that's a value, that's about love. Connection with other people, that's about love. Being authentic, that's about love. Everything is about love if it's about alignment. However, the values allow you to find a way to tap into that love, ultimately.
Yeah. Okay,
right?
that makes sense.
So by the examples I'm using, being authentic, connecting with others, connecting with nature, having fun, whatever it is, they're ways that allow you to get that feeling of love. So feeling of love, feeling of joy, potato, right?
Yeah.
They're means for you to achieve that feeling.
Okay.
That's why you value them. Is that helping?
Yeah, that's really helpful. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Is sense of purpose a value? Yeah. Look, they're uniquely yours, Sonia. And so as long as you know what it means and sense of purpose is definitely a value. And the important thing is to remember that it's about what it means to you. So 2 people might have the same words, but they mean something quite different. So it's about your connection to it. And to be honest, words can't do this stuff justice, but it's the best approximation we have, right? So if sense of purpose is the best way for you to express that feeling, awesome. And then you just want to make sure it's something that you know what it feels like, and that there are ways that you can get it. So if it's sense of purpose, for example, and you think, okay, in this relationship in my life, I'm just not feeling that, and say it was your number one value, and in this relationship I'm just not feeling it at all. Is there a way I can bring a sense of purpose into that? So you look for ways of going, okay, how can I bring a sense of purpose into this area of my life? And I think that's totally doable. So yeah, if it's a really strong connection for you, it's something you value. Can you please explain being authentic versus authenticity? Okay, so being authentic is about you. Feeling like you are being authentic, you are standing in your truth. Authenticity is broader than that, and it will be also about other people. Like you really value authenticity in other people, authenticity in maybe the brands that you choose to support by purchasing their product. Authenticity is much broader, but being authentic is very much uniquely about you. So hopefully that makes sense. Cool. Corey, do we need it to be narrow, or can we have a word that encompasses a lot of the values? So, Corey, can you unmute yourself? Let's have a chat about that. Because I don't want to give you like a blanket response. I want to make sure I actually address your specific question. So can you give me an example of, so what are the words, and what's the word, and what do you think it might encompass?
Well, I have a lot of words that kind of get encompassed in jubilance for me. For me, that's a big value. I don't even know if that's a value, but that explains to me a lot more of them. It's got the love, it's got the connection, it's got the sovereignty, like all of those things encompassed of just being the true me. It's got fun and all of that. Can that be a value, or do I need to have it more specific?
You can totally make that a value as long as you haven't just lumped all your values into one umbrella statement, like what I was talking to Judy about, you know, like, yes, ultimately it's all about love or the feeling of joy or the feeling of jubilance, because that's what the values allow you to connect to. So if for you the word that replaces love or joy is jubilance, then those things are your values, because they give you that ultimate sense of that ultimate alignment. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
however, if you think, oh, actually all these things are about jubilance, and then here's all these extra things I value that aren't part of jubilance, then that's different. Then you can keep jubilance as a value and know that there's lots of ways to achieve it, because you also have other values. But if it ends up being your only value, then yes, you need to
I've got lots of values, but for me, it's more about my feeling within that than it is about the actual each piece.
Perfect. So if you've got other values still, then I would keep jubilance, because this is kind of when we go through it one-on-one, that's what we do. We kind of look at, is this actually all just a means to an end? And yes, ultimately it's all a means to that highest end. So we want to know what are the components that go into it. So it's like, if you imagine it like tiers, there's the, the ultimate alignment that we're going for, love, joy, all of that. And we're going, okay, what are the values that help me connect to that? And if jubilance is one of them, and you've got some other ones, and then jubilance has a subset, like a little tree diagram kind of thing, that's totally cool. Then keep jubilance and know that you've got lots of different ways of connecting to that sense of jubilance, which is awesome, because it broadens your possibilities, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we got it. Jen says, I'm still happy with my success statement from last year. Do you think it's worth? Yes, absolutely. So I didn't mention that, actually. Thank you for prompting me, Jen. Core values, especially when you're doing a lot of personal growth, which every single person in this program is, 6 to 12 months, I recommend you revisit them, because often, so as you grow, your values change. You're constantly growing and evolving, and this whole program is about consciously evolving, actually, showing up to go, all right, I'm all about being on this journey of personal evolution. Let's do the work. And so you're going to keep shifting and changing, which means your values will keep shifting and changing. And also sometimes it kind of depends where you're at in your journey, but sometimes you value something really strongly at one point in your life because it's missing, right? Like sometimes people really value a sense of freedom because they just don't seem to have enough of it in their life. And once you fill that cup and, you recognize that that's really important, and you look for ways to make sure that you address that, then that kind of gets healed, and it may not even be something you value anymore because it's become something you've absorbed and intrinsically become. That feeling of freedom becomes part of who you are, and you're no longer kind of going, I really value it. It doesn't stand out to you anymore because you've healed a wound. So sometimes values are about something that you're wanting to heal or move away from as well. And then that definitely shifts. Love what you said about jubilance. Yep, got it. Cool. Revisited values with Trish late last year, and quite interesting. Yeah, really interesting to see how they shift. And, Karen and Robin, who've been in masterclass for a couple of years, they both have really noticed that their values have shifted. Haven't you guys? Like every time you address them, they're a bit different. And even sometimes, even though they're the same word, they mean something different to you. So any other questions just up to that point where we're ready to rank them and decide what the top 3 are? Have we covered everyone's questions? All good?
I have one.
Okay, cool.
My last value that I put down, I can't seem to find a word to encompass it all. So the words I've got down are expansion, growth, curiosity, and learning, because for me they all fit into that space. And when I think of each word of those words, like, I feel really good.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
But putting putting them under one word, I haven't been able to find one word yet that encompasses all of them.
All right. Why are you looking for one word? Because these are your values.
Yeah. So they were all encompassed in one together, like
one scene.
Yeah.
Oh, so you don't have to come up with one word per scene. It's
okay.
What are the things you value about this scene? So one scene will have multiple values, and that's why it's come up. Like your unconscious has gone to the strongest association, to that ultimate sense of connection and joy, and it's because it has so many of your values included in it.
Okay, so they can stand alone rather than being...
Totally.
Okay. All right, then.
Totally.
Cool.
Yeah, we're not looking to kind of... Because, otherwise we end up with love. I just value love. And, that's then too general. So you want to know what are the components, what are the things in life that allow you to connect to that feeling of love or joy, whatever the word is that resonates most for you.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so they're beautiful values. Okay, so who would like to do a demo with me of how to go through the ranking? Because this is what you'll be doing with your buddy. Suzanne. Hello, my love.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. Excited? Nervous?
This is exciting. All right. So have you got your list?
I've got my list.
All right. Let's have them. I'm going to write them down in the order that you mentioned them, which doesn't have to be any particular order because that's what we're about to do. Okay.
Sometimes I can't get one word, so I've got like a couple because I'm a bit funny about it being right, but it's the same sort of thing.
It doesn't have to be a single word. It can be a short phrase. Totally.
Okay, cool.
So your values.
Cool. So I've got contribution.
Nice.
Connection. Belonging. Time freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Like alone time or recharge time. So like something isolation. This is like movement or body freedom. I couldn't quite get that into a term, but like something where I'm moving my body.
What's wrong with movement?
Pardon? Movement? Oh, I don't know. Like it just didn't quite feel right, but it's something along those lines. I knew what it meant, so,
Yeah, as long as you know what it means. And you can play with, like we can go through this whole process and you come up with your top 3 and then next week you might go, oh, I've got a much better word for that. It doesn't change what it means. It's just you giving it a nicer kind of title. That's
okay.
That can happen later, so don't get caught up on that.
Abundance. That's another one. It was like, I know what I mean, but I don't know. Like knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a bunch of words there, but that's what it means. Recognition.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had transparency, but I don't know if authenticity is more what I mean. But like basically not the I don't like the used car salesman thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like I really value the transparency. What you see is what you get, not it's this, and then when you buy into it, you realise you've bought a clunker. So
yep.
I didn't know which one.
Okay. Let's just keep both and call it transparency / authenticity for now, because as we work with them, it gets clearer. So is that the whole list?
Yep, that's my list.
All right. So before we go through the ranking, and I want you guys all to pay attention because like pull your buddy up. If you look at things and you go, that's a bit generic or a bit broad or, are these two the same thing? Like help them go back a step or two, because you've got the steps, like in the lesson there, it's got the process and the steps to go through. If you feel like your buddy needs to kind of take a step back and just tidy things up a bit, please do that, because it's going to give them a much more powerful result and outcome. So contribution, very clear, right? Connection, do you know what you mean by that? Connection to self, others?
Connection to others, but how it's different to belonging is belonging is more about being safe to be me. So like I'm belonging rather than merely fitting in, do you know? So I don't change me to the situation.
Cool.
That's how I see the difference between them, because they sound similar, but they feel different.
Beautiful. Excellent. So these are the kinds of things you guys all want to check in on. Like, are these actually separate or are they part of the same thing? If they're part of the same thing, you kind of got to work out which one's the one, like the big fish that eats the little fish, because, you know, you don't want to just keep the little fish and get rid of the big one. You want to go, okay, this thing is actually part of that. So you kind of find it like that. Or sometimes one is a means to an end, and it's like, well, the reason I like that sense of belonging, I'm not saying this is the case for you, Suzanne, because you're very clear that they're separate, but for some people it might be, the reason that sense of belonging is so important to me is because it helps me feel connected. And if it's a means to an end, then you go for the end, right? So you just keep an eye on stuff like that. Ask lots of questions, like play dumb and ask lots of questions, because as people answer the questions, they'll work it out for themselves. So just ask them lots of questions. Okay, contribution, connection, belonging. Time freedom is pretty self-explanatory. Alone time is self-explanatory, I think, and it's different to time freedom. Time freedom is about choices, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And like I said, you can shift words around. Like, the words have to be something that for you automatically triggers that association, that when you hear time freedom, you go, I know exactly what that feels like. Somebody else might go, I prefer the word choices. Right?
Okay. Yep.
To them, it triggers the feeling. So it has to be uniquely yours. So you're doing good. Movement or body freedom, you're not quite sure which word to use, but you know what you mean. So let's just keep it as that for now. Now, abundance, I want to just question you on, because what do you mean by abundance? So how do you, like,
well, I had lots of them in a similar thing that I put under that one. I had like wealth and I had prosperity, and I mean like having more than enough so that I'm taken care of, so that I can be of service. So
is it the abundance you value or feeling abundant?
Ooh, feeling abundant.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like, well...
Yeah, it's the feeling, because it doesn't really matter what you actually have. Do you know what I mean?
That's right, because you can feel abundant whether you have $10 or $10 million, or you can not feel abundant whether you have $10 or $10 million. Cool. So it's about feeling abundant. And so that's then nice and broad too, because it can be about lots of different things that help you feel abundant. And if that turned out to be like one of your top 3 values, which are so handy to know, because, you know, you want to try and bring them into as many parts of your life as possible, then you go, okay, how can I feel more abundant in this area of my life? You know, how can I bring that sense of feeling abundant into it? It's a nice, easy one. Knowledge. So knowledge is about, what's that about? Just double checking.
Like lifelong learning. Like I'm bored unless I'm doing something, pursuing something. I don't sit well.
Okay, cool.
Stagnant.
So you value the knowledge, or you value the learning or the growth?
The growth, actually. That sums them all up perfectly.
Cool. And everyone, like Corey just said, oh, this is helping. It is really helpful seeing it with someone else. So knowledge is actually about growth. So we can cross out knowledge, and we've changed it to growth.
Yep.
Because it defines it even better. We've crossed out abundance, and we've changed it to feeling abundant. Recognition.
This is a hard one for me to write, because I felt like a bitch.
Oh, you're so up yourself, Suzanne.
And it's funny, all the ones I have here, I can see where
they're
not being met, which is why I'm frustrated. So like the biggest one was the time freedom, it's like no wonder I don't like making a schedule, because I don't feel that it's meeting my value. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Recognition, it's a hard one, because every time I try to talk to somebody about it, they're like, how can you meet that when you're blocking yourself? But I want to be recognized for my contribution, hence maybe they're similar, I don't know. I don't necessarily want to be like famous, but I don't like being overlooked or just being assumed, oh, that's Suzanne, she'll always be there. Do you know? Like taken for granted.
Yeah, and look, there's nothing wrong with having a recognition as a value. I just want to make sure you're really clear on what it means. And I also think that recognition is about, well, it's all about you, like everything, but it's about making sure you get recognized, that you actually ask to be recognized. You know, like if you
it's me, because I don't ask, and then I get pissed off that I don't get.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So it's good. I'm really glad to see that, because you're bloody brilliant at what you do, and and you don't need to be playing small. So by recognizing that it's important to be recognized and valued for your contribution, you know, it's going to fill your cup even more. And once that need has been met, you might find that recognition isn't important anymore, because it's healed the wound within. Do you know what I mean?
I think it'll be similar with the body freedom, because I didn't have it for so long. That's why it's important now, you know, but I don't think it will be important long term necessarily.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. And transparency / authenticity.
I really don't like buying into something and then people sold me, you know, a lemon. And it happens so much. And because I say it like it is, and if someone, especially with so much power in the way they speak or whatever, and then you go and it's like, it wasn't what you thought. So you just sold me a lemon. Do you know what I mean?
You sold me a lemon. So again, can you see how that's a value that comes from moving away from something unwanted? Yeah. Which is interesting, right? Because you definitely, like at the end of Effectology Method, at the end of the 6 months, make a diary note to get back together with your buddy and revisit these values, because they will shift in these 6 months.
Corey might have it there. Integrity. Yes.
Yes. Love it. Good word. All right. So we're crossing out transparency, authenticity. We're changing it to integrity. Cool. And so do that with your buddy first. Like, just double check that they're really clear on what it means, that it's not about something else, that it's not a means to an end, and that there's no duplication. So we've done that. So we've now got 1, 2, 3. Hang on. I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've got 10. Right? Which is great. Like somewhere between 8 to 12 is usually good to work with. If you've got more than 12, it's just going to be a little bit more challenging to do the next stage. And if you've got less, then you just want to make sure that it happens. Like people who are really clear on who they are and who've done a lot of work and who maybe have done the core values work a few times, they might only come up with 4 or 5, because they've really, you know, they know what they're all about. So, and it doesn't mean you don't know who you are if you've got more of them, but it does happen. But just make sure, because sometimes if your partner just comes up with 5 things, it might be that they try to do, you know, what we talked about with Anna and Judy, that they try to group everything together into some big ultimate end result. And you don't need to do that, because the ultimate end result is that feeling of joy, love, whatever word you want to give it, that pure alignment. That's the ultimate end result. But, you know, if we group them all together, we'd get to that, but that's not the point of this exercise. So let's do the ranking, Suzanne, which is the fun bit. So you're going to need to take turns with your buddy. Make sure that, like, work one at a time. Just do the whole process with one person, then do the whole process with the other person. Now, the way we're going to do it is we're going to compare 2 at a time against each other. And I'm going to be asking Suzanne the questions so that it helps her determine which one outranks the other. And by the end of the first run through, we're going to have the number 1 core value. Then we're going to go through again to come up with the second and the third. You can stop after 3, because, you know, you still have the other values. It doesn't mean we've discarded them, but you know what your top 3 are. So you know where your focus should be. If you want to shift an area of your life, then just go on the top 3 because they hold so much energy, so much power, that if you can bring them into that area of your life, you're going to create some really beautiful transformation. So it's very important that you ask the question correctly. So the question you're going to ask, write this down: would you rather have this without that, or that without this? So it's this without that, or that without this. So that's the question I'm going to be basically asking Suzanne. Obviously, I'll substitute this and that for her values. And we'll do the first run through. And as we do that, I'm going to just keep my finger on, because I've got them all written in a list, I'm just going to keep my finger on the one that is currently winning, because that helps me on the second run through not have to duplicate the first half of the process again. You'll figure this out as you do it. Yeah, I'll explain it again in a moment. So are you ready to go, Suzanne?
Yep.
Okay, so all I want you to do is just take a nice deep breath, get yourself grounded there, just relax. If you need to close your eyes to be more internal, do it, and just really feel into it. And so this is not about what does this mean about me and does this make me a conceited person. It is simply about, yeah, this is what I want and I'm allowed to ask for it, because if I don't do my life, who's going to do it for me, right? Mm-hmm. So Suzanne, and so I always preface this by saying, I know it's going to feel like I'm asking you to choose between your children. And the reason it feels like that is because these are your values. These things are really important to you. And I'm actually going to ask you to choose between 2 of them. Like if you could only have one, which one would you have? And that's like, it feels really unfair and really hard. So just breathe and know that I'm not asking you to give the rest up. This is just a process of knowing which one sits at the top of the tree. So Suzanne, would you rather have contribution without connection, or connection without contribution?
Connection.
Would you rather have connection without belonging, or belonging without connection?
Belonging.
Would you rather have belonging without time freedom, or time freedom without belonging?
Belonging.
Would you rather have belonging without alone time, or alone time without belonging?
Belonging.
Would you rather have belonging without movement or body freedom, or movement and body freedom without belonging?
Belonging.
Would you rather have belonging without feeling abundant, or feeling abundant without belonging?
Feeling abundant.
Would you rather have feeling abundant without growth, or growth without feeling abundant?
Feeling abundant.
Would you rather be feeling abundant without recognition, or have recognition without feeling abundant?
Feeling abundant.
Would you rather have feeling abundant without integrity, or integrity without feeling abundant?
Integrity.
Beautiful. So, well done. So that's our first run through. So integrity is your number 1 core value. Hands up if you were not surprised at that after the way Suzanne got really revved up talking about how she hates it when people are less than transparent. Right? That's why that stuff is so important to you. That's why you get so ranty about it. It is your number 1 core value, integrity. It's huge. It's important. And I know you well enough to know that it's really important to you and how you conduct yourself and your business. And it's really important to you in the people that you deal with and that you associate yourself with. Like, I know that about you, right? So how did that process go? Was that fun?
Not some of them were easier. Like it was like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool, but it's not. But some of them were like, oh, it was like,
yeah, it's hard.
I can only have one of them, you know.
Exactly. So we've come up. So by this process, so if you guys followed along, integrity was actually the 10th thing on the list. So it's come up as number 1. So we don't have to cover integrity again because it's now It's now already been ranked. Now, I kept tabs of which one was winning before we got to integrity. So the way I do it is I have the lists written, and this just helps you make the process a little quicker. If you don't understand what I'm about to explain, just ignore it and start from the top again, because after a couple of goes, you'll work out that you're duplicating and you don't have to. But the way I do it is I have them all written down in a row, and then I just put a little dot against the one that's winning. And so, you know, we had belonging kind of being the trump for quite a while. It trumped like the next three. So I just kept my dot next to belonging. Then we got down to feeling abundant, which trumped. So I'll put a dot there, and then that's still, you know, one all the way through to integrity. So it actually means I don't have to go right to the very top again, because we've already done them all down to feeling abundant, which trumped growth and recognition. So it actually means that feeling abundant is your number 2. Because before integrity, it was feeling abundant that had knocked out everything else. And it just happened to work out this very easy way, because you had integrity at the bottom of the list and it won, right? So it was whichever one was winning before then is automatically your number 2. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. If it had been a different order, we might have to go through a few of them again. So now we'll find your number 3. So you got off scot-free.
Oh, you're frozen, or I'm frozen.
Number 2, you've already done it. Probably why it also felt quite hard for you at times. So before feeling abundant, the one that was winning before feeling abundant was actually belonging. So like I said, guys, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, just go back, start from the top again, and until you get the next one. It's totally cool. You'll get the same result, and it'll just take, you know, a couple minutes longer. So belonging was winning before we got to feeling abundant. So all that's left now is to compare belonging to the stuff that came after feeling abundant.
Okay. Yep.
Because feeling abundant obviously won, because it's your number 2 value. So belonging was winning. So let's compare. All right, Suzanne, would you rather have belonging without growth or growth without belonging?
Belonging.
Would you rather have belonging without recognition or recognition without belonging?
Belonging.
Cool. So we now have your top 3 core values. We have integrity is number 1, feeling abundant is number 2, and belonging is number 3. Nerve-wracking to watch. I know. It is. Like, imagine what it feels like when they're your values, Corey. We can go next if you like. So how do you feel about that, Suzanne? Integrity, feeling abundant, and belonging.
Feels really good. I'm really glad that we went through them, because the abundance wasn't quite sitting. And then when you asked me, what is it about the abundance? It's like the feeling abundant. As you said, you can feel abundant when you've got $10. Like my kids feel abundant when you know they find 5 cents on the street. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that we did the integrity, because I couldn't get the word, and I'm really funny about terms. And authenticity wasn't right, and transparency wasn't right, because it feels too open. Like, I don't think everyone has to tell everyone their entire life story. You have things that you don't necessarily share, but then you don't not share them and not be in integrity with what you are sharing. So,
Totally.
it's
really a good word. Thanks, Corey. You're a star. That was perfect. Cool. So your homework now is obviously support your buddy to get theirs, and also do something to commemorate, like put those core values together, and, you know, in some way that you can have them kind of front of mind, in your face, to remind you integrity, feeling abundant, and belonging. And really, you know, spend some time maybe with your journal and sit down and go, okay, the parts of my life that light me up, how can I see that my core values really are an important part of that, and I've really managed to bring them in? You know, like you love your business, and, you know, it's all about integrity, it's all about feeling abundant, and it's all about creating that sense of belonging. So you can easily see why it lights you up so much. So you can kind of analyze different parts of your life and see how they're meeting your core values, and then you can look at parts of your life where maybe you can kind of bring your core values in a little bit more and get creative of, you know, how can I bring that sense of integrity? If you can go for integrity every single time, do it, because it trumps everything else and it's going to give you the most bang for your buck. And then, you know, how can I feel more abundant, and how can I feel more a sense of belonging? The more you bring that into different aspects of your life, the more full your life is going to be.
I love it.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Oh, it kind of explains something too, because like when I launched my membership recently, it's just a beta. I didn't think I'd like it because alone time and all that other stuff, I'm really shy, really introverted, and I'm actually really loving it, which is good, but it was a surprise. But it's like, it's that belonging, it's that place for other people who perhaps felt like I did before to just show up as they are, and I get to facilitate that. So, you know what I mean?
With integrity.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Love it. Good job. Thank you. That was awesome. All right. So we're right on the hour. So I'm just mindful because I don't want to chew people's time up too much. But does anybody else want me to do a demo for them on their values? Or are you guys good to go buddy up and do them with your buddy? Did you understand what I was on about when I explained how to then do the second and the third? Everyone's got it? Awesome. Very, very good. So if you've got any other general questions, hang around. We're just going to do a quick setting an intention and getting some alignment to go take away into your day with you before we close up. And then any general questions. I didn't see anybody put their name in the box. So put your name in the chat box now before we do this, just so that I know whether we're hanging around to answer any other questions. And then from here, you should all have your buddies by now. We will swap buddies every module. So once a month, we will swap buddies, and that just creates a really nice round robin connection through the group. So make a time with your buddy, if you haven't already, to sit down and go through the core values and do exactly what I just did with Suzanne. Like I said, if it's in the group so that I can see it, then I can run my eye over it and just make sure that it's all gone to plan, and I can give you some feedback if you need it. And if anyone gets stuck with it, please sing out, because then I'll jump on a Facebook Live and we'll do it live in the group together and I'll help you through it. So first port of call, do it with your buddy, see how you go. Any trouble, sing out. That's what I'm here for. Okay, a random question. Okay, cool. Yep, I'll talk about random questions in a sec. Workshop sales, any suggestions? So yeah, Judy's running a workshop, offering a workshop while she's here as well. So we'll pop that up in the group. Anyone who particularly knows people in Adelaide who have like early learning centre contacts, early learning, junior primary as well, right, Judy? Yeah. Karen does. Yeah, so Judy's running a really cool personal development workshop. So maybe put the details up in the group and then we can share that around a little bit more.
I shared that with a couple of different people, Judy.
Awesome. Good stuff. Yeah. Karen has a beautiful network of people. So we'll talk about it a little bit at the end of the call, but definitely put posts up in the group. Like, we're all women in business. So I just want to say this as well before we kind of close up the energy, that feel welcome to use the group as a place to brainstorm, to get feedback on business stuff. If you're wanting to put out a new program or doing some marketing, or you're putting together your elevator pitch or whatever it is, like, just put it up as a general, I don't know, we'll come up with a hashtag to use, but just put it up as a general question and get support, because everybody here can really offer some great value. And I'm totally open to that. Like, the key conversation is about the Effectology Method program and the work we're doing there, but particularly as the program goes on and we kind of have a bit more brain space, do use the group to bounce ideas off of and to get suggestions and feedback. Totally use it for that, because we're all women in business, and so it's really great to use that mastermind energy as well, and all the beautiful resources we've got available among us. Put a list of buddied up people in the group, because it's all muddled up. I'm not sure who's still looking for a buddy. Okay, so just use the buddy post and add another comment saying still looking for a buddy. That's it. Just use the buddy post, or just put your own post up and say, I'm still looking for a buddy who hasn't got one. Simple. All right, I'll answer those questions in a moment. Let's just kind of close the energy up. You should all know what to do. I can't wait to see all your core values coming up in the group. And when you've finished the process, please share them with us in the group and tell us how you feel about them, because remember, it's all about the feeling. It's all about the feeling. It's all about the feeling. So once you've done your core values, share them with us in the group. If you want to get fancy and creative, do it in a fancy and creative way. So let's just take a moment. I want you to just ground yourself back into your chair again. Take a really beautiful deep breath. And I'll just take a couple of seconds. And I want you to visualize yourself kind of calling all the pieces of you back into center. Because your brain's been going off in all different directions. And just calling all of that back together and kind of imagining it all clicking back into place in your center, right there in your heart space. And just focusing on that heart space and taking a couple of nice, slow, deep breaths through that center. And now deciding what you'd like the rest of your day to be all about. What do you want today to feel like? Maybe you want it to feel like flow, a sense of flow. Or maybe you'd like to have a feeling of being really on task. Or maybe you'd like a feeling of fun or peace. Whatever is the right word for you for today. Now, once you've come up with your word, or it could be a couple of words, what you want today to feel like, I want you to take yourself to the end of the day and maybe reflecting back in your journal on the day, looking back and being filled with that feeling, noticing it in your body, breathing into it a little more, and feeling gratitude knowing that you created that feeling. You created this day because you created the energy, sent it out ahead, and then stepped into it in faith, knowing there's guidance there every step of the way. Seeing yourself at the end of the day, smiling back in gratitude, feeling that feeling so powerfully. Feeling gratitude for the fact that you created it. And taking a nice deep breath in, coming all the way back into the room. And if you need to shoot off, lots of love. I look forward to seeing your core values popping up in the group as you complete them, and hopefully get to witness you going through the process. And I'm just going to stick around and answer any questions. Judy, do you want to have a quick chat about workshop stuff? And then, I'll just unmute you. So definitely put a, definitely put a post up in the group asking for suggestions and asking people to share it as well. Like put the link to the actual promo post that you've got so we can put comments and share it. But anything else you wanted to ask about that? Just a little bit about it. Just give us the quick.
Yeah. Okay. So my background's music education, so I'm a music educator. So creating songs for little kids to learn with, but then combining that with the growth mindset concepts as well. So it's very practical. A little bit of psycho stuff, a little bit of neuroscience and neuroplasticity and that kind of stuff. Cool. Is exciting. But pretty much just helping people develop or start using music in a better way in their classrooms.
Yep.
Yeah. But I guess like I'm doing them through New Zealand as well, and I'm finding it really difficult to get uptake. So it's the whole thing of,
So are you contacting childcare centres and early learning centres?
Yeah. So I've got quite a big database. So I've been doing that. They're sort of trickling in, but not I'd like a flood. And I haven't had anything for Adelaide, which is fine. I'm kind of letting it go. It's like there's this cold turkey person that they won't know. But, I'm just, I guess I'm feeling that, my whole persona is not cutting it at the moment.
That your energy is not quite aligned.
Yeah, my energy's not really,
So I think you need to maybe have a look into the attachment to it all a little bit, like offer it with an open heart, but without being attached as to, I need this many sales and I want a flood of sales because I want this many dollars out of it, because all of that closes the energy down.
Yeah, yeah.
So you need to find a way to just be really excited about it and offer it from the heart. And that energy will shift things. And on a practical level, when you put it up in the group, can you give us a little bit of a blurb at the top to say, you know, this is who it's perfect for, and this is the outcome, and you know, this is how many hours it is. So when we share it, we can put that.
Yeah.
If we don't know too much about it, it can be really awkward to share stuff because I don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah. No,
and then
enough.
you see it and go, that's not what that workshop's about, Miriam. So give us a little blurb, because we'll share the link you give us, so you know people won't see the little blurb that you gave us.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, if you do that, that makes it easier, because then we can kind of be more targeted with who we send it out to.
Okay. Cool. Thank
And
you.
where are you operating from, Judy? Are you in Adelaide or?
No, I live in New Zealand.
Right. So do you need to be there in person for this, or do you do it online, or what's
Yeah, it's a in-person one. In person.
Right.
Yeah.
So Judy's coming for the Effectology Method weekend.
Right. So you've got some time around that.
I'm intending to come for the Effectology weekend. It's going to be the Monday afterwards, Monday the 1st, and just in the hotel where we're staying. Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah, I am really excited about it. It's the first time I've actually combined the music education with the sort of the mindset growth music stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's really good.
Excuse my ignorance, Judy, but are you trying to educate the educators, or are you?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the sort of stuff that we need to be a little bit clear on, so we can really share it. And yeah. Like, it's not for parents, it's not for children, it's for the educators.
Yeah. Originally, when you were talking, I thought perhaps you were doing a workshop in these centres for the children. But now I get it. Now I get trying to educate.
I do that, but that's not what this one is. Yeah.
Right.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, I will be clearer.
Lovely. And the other thing that popped up in the chat box was, Corrie, if you don't have a buddy yet, sounds like Karen Conlon needs one, so you might want to hit her up. Maybe just tag her in the group.
I don't have a buddy yet either, but that's because I'm not reliable. So.
You don't want to be accountable to anyone.
That's correct. Correct.
You can be my buddy, Robin.
Okay.
Classic. And Anna, you had a random question, honey. Go for it.
I do have a very random question. Let me see if I can get it out. So, as I'm delving into this more, I'm understanding that I am the universe, right? So I create my world.
And aren't you beautiful?
Thank you.
Look at the world you create.
For me, though, then that brings into question the spiritual aspect of things.
Mm-hmm.
And my brain is kind of feeling quite stretched with it at the moment. And so if I'm the universe and I'm the creator of my world, then where do the things like, I understand intuition and how we connect in with the
infinite.
Thank you. With the universe, yes. But it's more like, for me, when I channel, like, and the Ascended Masters kind of thing, and my brain is like, I'm not quite able to make sense of that at the moment.
Okay, so do you accept that all is one?
Yes.
Do you accept that all is connected?
Yes.
Okay, so you're part of that?
Yes.
So you're connected to everything and you are one with everything?
Yes.
So you are the universe?
Yes.
You are a part of the universe. You are part of the whole, right? You're not the entire universe, but you are the universe. And I say you are the universe because people keep separating themselves and going, here's me and there's the universe, and the universe is testing me and the universe is sending me a message. It's like, no, you are the freaking universe. You are part of it, but you are in human form, right? So there is limitations to your awareness of what you are. But you are connected to all of it. You are one with all of it, and you are communicating with all of it. So the analogy that sometimes helps is if you think of it like a hand, and, you know, you're there, but you're still part of all of it. And so you've got, you know, you've got other entities and other kind of energy forms out here and all over the place, and you can tap into their energy as well. Does that help?
Yeah. My brain needs to make some new neural pathways there. It's like, oh.
You are part of the whole.
Yeah.
But sometimes the pinky forgets that it's part of the hand.
Yeah.
And that it's actually one with the thumb. And it goes, oh, I'm getting all these messages from these amazing beings over in the thumb, and they're so wise and they're so all-knowing, but you're actually part of all of that. Otherwise you couldn't access it.
Mm.
So you communicate with them and they communicate with you, because you're all part of the whole, and you're all just different levels of vibration.
Yeah.
I know it's very trippy stuff. It's sometimes good not to think about it too hard, because then you get confused. It's like quantum physics. I get it, and then the more I look at it, the more I don't get it, and I have to just zoom myself back out again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's beyond understanding, right? It's beyond conscious comprehension.
Yeah.
It's a knowing.
And I think that, like, it's just the acceptance and bringing the concept forward to create the oneness as opposed to the separateness, like you were talking about, and my brain's just doing their thing. So it goes and has to think about it. And then it's like, because there's the old story and then there's the new information coming in. And then I go away and I'm like, it'll all work out.
Yeah, you have to give it some time to integrate that understanding. But it's, you know, the separation is an illusion. There is no separation.
Yeah.
It's all one, and it's all you, and it's just different. You know, it is all the universe. It is all this interconnectedness, and you are part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's
it's a hand. It's the universe, right? It's a hand. And just because you are the nail on the pinky doesn't mean you're not part of the hand anymore.
Yeah. And I think the thing that it's doing is it's calling into question a lot of limiting beliefs that I've had up until now about where I fit or don't fit into all of it, if that makes sense.
Mm.
So, yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Great question. Love it. Dear. Were there any other questions? We always get what we need. Yes, exact. Sometimes we're just not tuned in enough. Beautiful. I came up in Jen's meditation. That's always the way. And, you know, particularly in masterclass calls, there's always the theme. Breathing with 1.1 right now. Absolutely. One step at a time, Corrie. All good. All right. So if we covered everybody's questions, I think everyone's happy and good. Everyone knows what they're meant to do now. Core values. Buddy up. Go forth and rank them. And I will see you on our call next Thursday. I'll be in Brisbane at conference. In my hotel room, though, when I'm on the call. So I'll see you all then. Bye for now. Have a beautiful day, ladies. Ciao. See you in the group.